murder. Yeah, yeah.
Throw your hands up, everyone. Shake the stress that's killing you. Fancy footwork just like me. Shake it over this dance floor. Throw your hands up, everyone. Shake the stress that's killing you. Fancy footwork just like me. Shake it over this dance floor.
Coming up on Mental Health Marty. Y'all know it's the first Tuesday of the month. You know what we do. Hot topics with my favorite crew. We in the house, y'all. Stay tuned. What's up, everybody? Yes, it's me. It's your mental health hygienist, Martina Sellers, coming to you live and always in living color on this first day of November. It's getting a little chilly out there, y'all. Can you believe it? Yes, it says it never rains in Southern California, but we're supposed to get some rain tonight. We need some. I'm tired of being in this drought. How you doing? How you living? Hope everyone is doing well. And of course, I'm always coming to you live and in living color. Yes, Sister Janice, good to see you. Yes, your beautiful pastor. She is always on here. We are so grateful to everyone who comes out to see this show and watch us every month as we come in here with hot topics with the crew that's like none other. Do you know what? My mother was telling me, say, hey, this is my favorite show. She told me everyone else on the show was kind of so-so, but she loves it when Bishop, Dr. Story, and of course my brother from the same mother, Bob, is on here. She told me we need to do this all the time, but we are so glad that you are here. Let us know you're here. Check in with us. Check 1, check 2, check 3. Jeff, how you doing? I see you, my brother, in the DC area. Yes. Hope everyone is doing well, that you had a safe trick-or-treat. And Tanya, thank you so much for always being such a faithful follower and subscriber to the Mental Health Marty show. Yes, Jerron, what's going on, my brother? Hope all is well. Yes, but let us remind you what this show is all about. And always, hey, to the Mac in the back, Daryl, who does his thing, who produces the show all the way from the ATL, and we are so grateful. But let us remind you what this purpose of the Mental Health Marty show is all about. We are a psychoeducational show. What are you saying by that? Our purpose is really, we want to stop the stigma and decrease the stigmatization about mental health in our communities, because mental health looks different. And just because you're going through a mental health crisis does not necessarily mean that you have a mental health diagnosis. So the purpose of Mental Health Marty is simply to do this, to bring awareness, to be that we are your supplement but not your substitute from seeing a therapist. I believe in therapy. I believe in getting some help that you need, some professional help. Yes, I talk to my pastor. Yes, I have my prayer partners. However, I still see my therapist and talk to my therapist on a regular basis as well. Why? Because sometimes life gets a whole lot of heaviness, and I just need a safe space in which I can talk through my problems with and talk through my aggravations. Yes, I get aggravated. We all do. That's just a part of life. However, if you're experiencing any type of psychiatric emergency, we definitely want you to contact your nearest urgent care. Go to your urgent emergency room, dial 911 or the new helpline that we are so grateful for that is out, which is 988. You can dial 988 from any phone, including your cell phone, and they have professional people who are there to care all about you and support you through what could be a mental health crisis. Now, how do you stay in touch with us? Because we love it when you communicate. We love the comments. We love the shout outs. We love the questions. We want all of that because this show is all about participation and you letting us know what you're thinking, what you're feeling about the topics, all of that. But how do you stay engaged? We want you to first go over to the Mental Health Marty YouTube page, Mental Health Marty YouTube. Subscribe to the YouTube page. How do I do that? Daryl, show us how we do that. Hit that like button. Hit the subscribe, you'll hear that bing, and then that will let you know every time we have a show because we want you to always stay connected with us and everything that we are doing. Yes, I agree with the Queen Mother. Yeah, the Queen Mother, y'all pray. She and my aunt, they out like Martha and Louise out there. Emmett, listen, love you, man. Hope all is going. Listen, that is an amazing man right there. Emmett Downs, owner of Downs and Martin Family Services, and he has what we call here in California STRTPs, short-term residential treatment programs for young people. And Emmett Downs is a Black-owned business that is doing the work, and I thank him because when I was doing my hours and getting ready to become a therapist, he was always there to support me. And when y'all, if we put our businesses together and support one another, there's so much more that we can do. Our dollars don't have to leave our community. And I have my helper in here. Hello, Tony. Say hi.
Hi.
Hi. Are you doing your homework now? Your homework's up there. Okay. Thank you. So, yeah, I'm doing double duty tonight, y'all, being a parent, being a father, and all that great stuff. But listen, as she tries to sneak, you're not sneaking. Don't you love when our kids try and sneak? But listen, yes. Love, yes, Tiffany, definitely. EmmettIsTheBomb.com. So shout out to Emmett and everything. Listen, let's bring in our folk here tonight. I want to bring in my sister from another mister. You know I got nothing but love for her. She is in the Philly area. And she's pastoring 2 churches. I don't know how she does it. She's brilliant. She's my sister, none other than Dr. Marquita Story. Dr. Story,
Hey
how are
there,
you?
Marty. I am wonderful. It is my pleasure to be with you. I had an amazing yesterday, October the 31st, honey.
Yes,
We had us a ball out
I
in
know that's right.
Williamsport. We was giving
Okay,
candy away. People were scared to take it at first, and then they started taking it because, people ain't used to you being nice to them unless there's something going on.
right,
But they
right,
started taking it.
right, right.
But I have been
Yes,
waiting on our time together. This is a time that I really enjoy being
yes.
together with you. I thank God for the work
Likewise.
that you are doing and how God is using you to
Wow.
impact our men, our
Thank
young
you.
men, as well as extend this conversation on our mental health. And so I'm so grateful to God for you and being here
Likewise.
with my brothers as well.
I'm so grateful for you as well. You have been such a staple, and we've known each other for almost probably better part of 20 years now. And
Yes.
you are so consistent. We connected immediately. You are what I love, consistent no matter what. But before we do that, can we tell them about what we're going to be doing starting on the first Wednesday of every month, as well as we're talking about Wellness Wednesdays? Go ahead. I'm so excited. Talk to us about that because we're coming on tomorrow. Talk to us, Dr. Story.
I am so excited that I've been able to partner with Marty and all of the amazing people that he is connected to. And we're just going to be doing a series of times together about
Yes.
wellness. And we're calling it Wellness Wednesdays. There is something. about us being well, and we
Yes.
need to ensure that we are well and healthy in so many different ways. And so we're
Yes.
going to be looking at mental wellness, we're going to be looking at physical wellness, emotional wellness,
Yes.
financial
Yes.
wellness, spiritual
Yes.
wellness, relational wellness.
Yes.
If I
Come
can come up
on.
with something else, it'll be that. But we're going to be coming together because, especially those of us that are black and brown, and those of us that
That's
live in
right.
the inner city, things are very critical for us when we're looking
Yes.
at the issues of diabetes and blood pressure,
Yes.
hypertension,
Yes.
the strokes,
Yes.
our heart disease that we have, the other issues that come because of our complicated trauma and grief
Mm-hmm.
that
Mm-hmm.
we
Mm-hmm.
have. We've got to learn how to live and live well. And the Word of God says that Jesus came that we may have life and it in its
Life.
abundance. That's right.
Come
And we
on.
want to live, but we don't want to just exist. We want to live
Right.
well. And so
Right.
I couldn't think of anybody better to partner with than the mental health matters with Marty and Martinez
Yes.
Sellers and his
Yes.
entire
Yes.
group. We really want to get this out. And because of leading in this hour, there are so many concerns that we have, not only with those of us that are adults, but also with our young
Right.
people. We really need to
Yes.
have conversations
Yes.
about their
Yes.
emotional wellness, their physical wellness,
Yes.
their relational wellness, because there's so much
Yes.
violence with them. So, Marty, thank you for partnering. We're going to be together at least the first Wednesday of every month,
That's right.
unless we come back by popular demand. And it's going to be a
Right.
little bit
Right.
early for us, but it'll be
Yes. Tell us
six
the
o'clock
time.
p.m. 6 o'clock
Eastern
p.m.
time.
on Wednesdays, Eastern Standard Time. So don't act like you
Yes.
missed us, because if you're on the bus, you can be on. If you're on the train, you can still be on. And
That's right.
others
That's
of you,
right.
you will have gotten off of work at 5 and tucked yourself in your house by 6, and you can
Yep.
turn us
Yep.
on and join us. And even if you don't join us live, make sure that you
You see
go
the
back
replay.
and
Yes.
do the replay, because it is going to
Yes.
be something real, and it is going to be relevant to ensuring that
That's
we are
right.
well. So thank you, Marty.
Love it. Love it. Love it. So mark your calendar. Tomorrow will be on 6 p.m. Eastern time. And 3 p.m. Pacific time. So we're going to be doing the Wellness Wednesdays with that. So let's bring on none other than all the way in the dirty South, in the Houston. He gonna get me too because it's called the dirty South. But we're so glad that he's with us. None other than
Yes.
Bishop Sean himself. Bishop, what's up,
Good
Bishop?
evening. Welcome all the Dirty South. We check your
The
phone. I
dirty
sent you
South.
2 words. Yeah, check your phone. I sent you 2 words. Um, yeah, yeah, I sent you 2 words, and I want you to treat those 2 words like we do communion. I want you to take
Yeah,
and read it and
the
do it
words
as
Jesus Christ.
often as
Amen.
you deem it necessary. Yes, the Dirty South. Yeah, check your phone. These are your church announcements.
Y'all know
Do
y'all a
it
little
as
ratchet down
often.
there in Houston. We love you. We
Listen.
love you.
Listen, yeah, you do, but you're not gonna call me the Dirty South. Ratchet is one thing. Dirty South, that's that. I'm
Okay,
neither.
okay,
Let me just go. Yeah, I'm
okay,
not. Yeah, I'm
okay,
just a
okay,
country boy
okay.
in these big
Yes,
city
sir.
streets.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
I'm in that madness, right? Dirty South. Yeah, check
Bishop,
your
how you
phone.
been? How you doing? You're
I ain't
looking
got no
well.
complaints. Listen, man, dead people don't have much to say, so I'm just glad to be here.
Come
I'm
Let's
just
on.
glad
go.
to be here. I'm just
The
glad to
dead folks
be
ain't got
here.
nothing to say. Not,
They ain't got
they got
nothing to
nothing to
say,
say.
but I'm
Nothing to
just
say.
glad. I say this joke. I say this all the time, but this is my honest to God truth. When
Yeah.
they gave up on me, I was prepared to die. When God
Mm,
sentenced me to live, I had to figure out how to do it. Now that I
mm,
figured out how to do it, I make no
mm-hmm.
compromise or excuses to terrorists about the decisions that I make. My answers are
Come
my
on.
answers. They're not open for you to
Right.
debate, discuss, or deny. They're just up for you to know
Woo!
about. So I am
Okay.
glad to share space with the folk that I love and the people that I love on
Yeah.
conversations that I can't wait to talk about.
Yes.
This Wednesday thing that you and Rita are bringing online, I'm here for that. And there is 2 people I really think that you all should connect with. I really do think if
Okay.
you get a moment, you definitely ought to give a call to Reverend Dr. Rodney Jackson, pastors a church
Okay.
in Nashville, Tennessee called Restoration Temple Ministries. The boy
Yes.
is a brain when we talk
Yes, he
about
is.
the moving pieces of healing and the internal work that the church must do. And I also think that it would do you some good to connect with what's that baby's name? I can't think of her name. I'm gonna send it to you. But there's another young lady you need to connect to who actually does the psychology. She is a licensed ordained preacher, but she's also a licensed psychotherapist. And so what she does is she invades the territory of the church.
Yes.
You're going to pray, but you still need a psychiatrist.
That's right.
She calls it the three P's. You can pray, you need a psychiatrist, and you possibly could need pills. And she is very bold and blunt about that. Yeah, because the church
Not the
tells
three
us to
P's,
pray,
triple P.
but we pretend, and it is not the PPP loans that some of our friends got dismissed and upset because others got $10,000 forgiven in loans. It is not the same thing. Just
Not the same. Not the same. I understand.
But I do think that she is someone that you should connect with, because the conversation that we need to really have isn't that mental health doesn't exist. It isn't that people don't need therapy. It is how do we allocate the resources of the church to meet the mental needs of the people that we serve. That is the conversation we talk about.
It is. Yeah, and I want to say this: if churches were to reach out to us as professionals in the field, we would give them and work with them, and to make sure, because our job, we don't want to break the bank. We want to work with sliding scales. We'll work with you. You give us $2,000 a month or what have you, and we do. We'll work with you because we want to see the people whole as well. Because when people are healthy, they do much better in life. They then make more income. Their families are healthier. It is that cost preventative measure that we're talking about, so that we're in so we're not always in a repair and in that stage, but we're in a preventive and maintenance mode as opposed to the other modes that we're in. Yes. I want to bring in our final person on here. He's my brother from the same mother. This is my brother so much. He's the one who got me into doing all this with the podcast and everything else. Listen, y'all don't know, Bobby can cook. Don't let Bobby fool y'all and think he can't. Bobby can cook. He can make some steak that make you slap somebody. Right. Yes, it can.
All right.
Yes.
All right.
You know, Bobby have it going on over there when he be cooking and everything. But none other than my brother, none other than Rob Bobby Sellers. What's up, Bobby?
What's up there, God? What's happening, man? Great introduction. You know how I'm going to follow the preachers and what they just started out with, but I'm just coming in as a young deacon. That's all I'm doing. Bobby Young Deacon. That's the name right now.
Bobby Young Deacon. I love it.
Bobby Young Deacon. You know what I mean? Oh, yeah, but all is well. All is well.
Wonderful. We're not dealing with the pins tonight, Bishop. We're not dealing with the pins.
No, that's fine. We don't have to deal with the pins, and we can keep the young deacon. But I just want to know, has he figured out who Kimberell is? The question I want to start off with.
That was last month.
No, he answered that. He answered that. He said he think he may know her. He already answered that. Cut it out. He may have heard about her. He may have.
Yeah, I
You still got your notes from last month.
Yeah, I made notes because I wanted 30 days later. I want to see if he did his homework, see if he know who she is. I want no confusion. Be sure we get his homework. Be sure. I don't want. The worst thing we could ever have in the church is ignorance, and I want to be sure we dispel with the ignorance.
Especially as a young deacon. We need the deacon to know what he's talking about.
The deacon needs to know.
The wrong thing.
I'm getting better.
Right. I just want to clarify that
I'm getting better. You know what I'm saying? You know
we
got the text message from you. From the text message, yes. So in the last text you gave us, you showed us what she looked like and all the personality traits. Yes.
He said all the personality traits. We in the body of Christ, we got lots of personalities. Now, some of them we need to go ahead and do an exorcism of, but we had all personality. So since we
And
talking
stop
about
lying that
topics
the
tonight,
Lord told you that to do that too. Let's get clear about that. Not only do you have a personality trait issue, but you have a lying spirit. Stop telling folk that God told you to say it. And if your prophecy starts off with "I don't know who this is for," you should sit in silence. Too much.
Facts. Yeah. Facts. Facts.
Okay, let us move on.
I'm gonna need some more
Some
mango
stuff
juice
need
here
to
in a
just
minute.
sit in the room. Some stuff just need to sit in the room. Just let it sit in the atmosphere. Oh
Okay,
Yeah, I'm
God.
just saying.
we moving
Okay,
on. We
let us
moving
move
on.
on
Kimber
with
Rowdy
the
got too
agenda.
much airtime. She got too much
I got-
airtime. You know,
And
today is all
silence. And silence like it was a
and silent.
memorial.
You're
I
right.
wrote the agenda down for today. I wrote the agenda down. You ready? The agenda.
You wrote the agenda. But today is
Yeah, I
All
wrote the
Saints
agenda down.
Day. You wrote the agenda.
Yeah.
Are we on the same agenda?
Yeah, the one you email.
Yeah,
Same one. I made 2 changes. Yeah.
Wait a minute. I emailed him and then he rewrote it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just saying, technology sometimes might not decide with the truth, and so somebody needs to be able to produce the record. It didn't say it was
Right.
typed. The book said it is written.
Okay, moving on, because it was written in an email, but he gonna rewrite in his longhand form because he wanted to
Is
make
that a
sure
problem to
that
you?
Timothy.
I just want
Not at all. Not at
Okay.
all. No. Just as long as you got your pen, we good. Okay. Can we talk about? I won't skip the whole first thing. Let's jump right in. The shooting today. My heart goes out
Here in Houston.
to. Yeah, they're in Houston, in your neck.
Mhm.
Take off. Now, what? Take off. Lord help. Yeah, but he was a young man, 28 years old in Houston,
Mhm.
and definitely his reputation preceded him because people were definitely talking about how he was a young man of peace. He definitely was very respectable and all that.
Mhm.
And I done got old. Give me the name of the group that he's with. Okay. Anyway,
Migos.
Migos.
yeah.
Migos, Amigos,
Yeah,
I
that.
think. Migos.
Migos.
That's it. That's it.
Okay,
Migos.
Migos.
But
Yeah. All
Migos.
right.
But I guess my heart goes out because we have to stop this
Yeah.
senseless killing in
Yeah.
our community. We got enough people trying to shoot and kill us without us doing senseless things because of disagreements and everything. Bobby, being the hip hop expert up in the room, talk to us about, yeah, you got all kind of titles. You're the political goat, the hip hop expert, and the one who reads the most, who now knows who Kim Burrell is. But
Yes.
Yes. Hallelujah. Talk to us about Takeoff. I don't know Takeoff, but I was taken aback by that he was shot.
No doubt about it. One of the 3 members of the Migos, they're family too. I think they're like
Okay.
they're tight family, uncles, cousins, things of that nature, nephews, things of that
Right,
nature. They're real,
right.
they're family. But that's just a microcosm that's going on in the hip hop community right now.
Yes.
This
Yeah.
I have to say, you got to look at it. This might be the most dangerous time to be a rap artist.
Yes.
Definitely late 80s, early 90s, a lot of violence, but now it's just like
We had that
I don't
then.
know what's going on. It needs to stop.
It has
we
to
need to
stop.
be refocused on what we need to do as a people. I think sometimes we forgot that we've made it. We haven't.
Yeah.
So
that's good.
I don't know. We see everything. We see what's going on. And we're still turning on each other. It got to stop.
Yeah.
This guy's 28 years old, man. Way too young. And I'm sure the person who
Yeah.
killed him, who did the shooting, he's probably a young
Was
African
young
American too. Not trying to assume.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And
And-
we taking care. We doing the KKK business.
Oh, that's good.
We doing the white supremacist
Wow.
business right now. What they say: put a little gun, some liquor, some drugs in the hood. We ain't got to do the killing. They're gonna do it themselves.
Mhm.
Wow.
And it has to stop, man.
Gee.
Wow.
We are
Yeah.
still
And
prisoners
I
of
think-
war, ladies and gentlemen. We're still prisoners of war,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen. Let's not forget that.
Come on.
We
Go ahead,
need
Bishop.
to address this also, that you can't run the streets like you used to once you have made it to a certain status. He had
Yes.
the question I have is, well, the thing I want to push us to is that your best example of support is the actual apology you live in. If you have matured to $1 million, $1 billion status, I shouldn't see you doing some of the same things you did when you was on food stamps and you was hustling. You have to change your psyche,
Right.
and in changing your psyche, I also should see a behavior change in you. And I'm not saying what he was doing was right or wrong. I am saying
Right.
if what he was doing is of the same pattern and nature that he was doing before, then the question has to be raised: who was around him that could have gotten him out of that? And then two, why didn't we see the behavior change that represents? Because this is what happens: we make it, and we want to still pretend that we're still touchable by the same people. You are approachable by the same people. You might not be touchable by the same people. And that's all contingent upon your perception and how you perform in your perception. And I think that shooting craps is good. I hate to see another black man killed by another black man. So then the question we have to ask is, what was the push that got you to that step? We have to start with the end in mind and ask the question. Neither one of them should be in jail or dead at this point because they had the ways to get out of that.
That's good. Exactly. That's good. Rita, talk to me
Well,
about that. Your thought too.
the other, yeah, I've got a small connection with a family that has had to deal with this as well. One of the things, though, just back to Rob's point, about the shootings and all, especially with these hip hop artists,
Yeah.
these up and comings are now being targeted. So they're not with the contracts that we think they have yet. They're just being spotlighted as one that has value. And so one of the things I believe it is beginning to show us is that in and of our own environs, we struggle knowing that somebody's on the come up. And so, one of the things that the enemy is used to doing
Come
is
on.
taking those who have value and virtue. Check
That's good.
Nebuchadnezzar when he had Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego, Daniel. They had those young men and young children because they had value and virtue. And one of the other things that we've got to start understanding is that we're getting to be a little desensitized because it
Yes.
is not only the fact that it is a young man losing his life, but back to Sean and Rob's point, it's another young man hurting another young man, and so
Yes.
you don't even
Yes.
have to. And it everything it doesn't have something to do with
That's
gang
it. That's it.
violence and all of the rest of
Right.
it. Some of it,
Right.
I really believe we gotta look at who we are and what is important to us. We if y'all
Yes.
go back on the list in the last couple of years, Ex Estacion, Pop Smoke, all of these kids were on their
Yes.
way
Yes.
somewhere. They had not
hmm
made it to stardom. And I don't want to call everybody name because there have been other young people
The
in
list would be too
Philly and
long.
all over. The list is way too long. Just in the last few years, they've not even
hmm
been able to tip into, and so then the arts has not discovered the true value of who they would be, and then our culture has not been able to grasp a hold of who
hmm
they were going to be as well. And there is an assault out on black men. And I believe the enemy
That's
got a
it.
target on y'all forehead, y'all's heart, and your back.
Yes.
And so whether
Yes.
it's a system or whether it is our own negative self talk that's so negative, whatever it is, we've got to begin to not only discuss it, but we're at such a dangerous spot now. We also
Mm-hmm.
got to be doing some things. It ain't enough to ask the right questions now. We've got to be asking and doing all at the same
Doing.
time, diagnosing
Yes.
and doing all at the
Yes.
same time. We've got to be
Mhm.
treating. I
Yes.
was talking to somebody else earlier today, and everybody got a treatment plan. But if I'm only treating you once a week, then you're not getting the real treatment that you need. If I'm only seeing you twice a month, you're not getting what you really need. And if we're overlooking what is going on with our real trauma and grief, this only is going to continue and magnify in our community.
I totally agree because we don't want to invest in the right things, and I'm going with Bobby what he says too. We're doing the work. The police don't have to do the work of killing us. We're killing ourselves. The KKK don't have to
Mhm.
do the work of killing us. We're killing ourselves. We have to start changing the mind and how we view
Mhm.
each other, and really go back to I may not like what you're doing, but you are still my brother, and I
Mhm.
don't hate you to the point that I want to annihilate you, that I want to eliminate you, but I'm going to have the conversation and we can agree to disagree and say, may the Lord watch between me and thee while we are absent. So we don't understand that was not only just a doxology, but that was a goodbye. God bless you. Good riddance. And I'll see you when I see you in that
And
regards. But we
Marty, I'm
have to
just going to say
change.
this
Go ahead.
with us also. He was murdered in the Republic, I mean, in the state of Texas.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
They're going to move. They're going to move this trial quickly, and
Mhm.
we will probably get to
And as
court.
quietly as
And
possible.
no, they're gonna. It won't be quiet as possible because they want to prove the point. They won't be quiet, but we will quickly move this young man on to jail, to prison, to death row, whatever, and say that it was in the best interest of the community and is advantageous toward the law.
Mm,
Right? That's what we're going to hear.
mm,
But our
mm.
attorney general has been under federal indictment since he's been in office, runs from subpoenas, and can keep his job.
Well, we saw that with the last person that was in the high office, and avoidance of that too. So there is always been a double
There's
standard.
two separate sides. It's two separate sides. Yeah.
Yes,
Two separate standards, two
yes.
separate sides. And so I was talking to some of the kids today. I pulled a bunch of my boys in because I work at a high school. So I pulled a bunch of my boys in. They were
Hmm.
talking about it. And to hear them explain why they are concerned is not even something that we even hear in our older years.
Hmm.
Good example, Mr.
Hmm.
Stewart. He made it using his own words, nonviolent, da 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 da, and he
Hmm.
took care of his family. Guess what? The first question out their
Yes.
mouth: now that he dead, who gonna take care of his family? He
Yeah.
was making the
Yeah.
bread. That's
Yes.
then another kid, Mr. Stewart. If he's dead and there is no contract, does that mean his family get no money, that they have to move out and be like homeless and stuff? They,
Right.
10th, 11th, 12th grade, asking these questions.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. There's a huge concern on that. So with that being said, because we got to move on, we got lots of topics. I'm going back to Bobby. Bobby, voting. Why is it imperative? We got to vote. We got to get out there, and we know that Pennsylvania, darling, y'all, we watching y'all. We watching Georgia. We watching Nevada, because we got to do that. Oh, a good question. Emmett says, does art reflect life or life reflect art? Social media is so dangerous. And I think that's that pendulum that goes back and forth that we constantly go, because sometimes art definitely reflects that of life because they want that, but life definitely trying to reflect that too. But Bobby, back to voting. Why?
Yeah.
I know you're an avid voter, and you are telling people, let's get registered, because our grandparents, some of them did not have the opportunity or had so many restrictions. And I think it's just my responsibility as a black man. But talk to us, Bobby.
Well, I mean, the whole voting concept is, I mean, at some point we have to use, I don't want to say our voices, but we got to use that vote to better our livelihood. Let's get it right. I mean, because Republicans in office, we know they don't have any care in the world for us, right? Not saying the Democrats got all the answers, but I'd rather go with them, because all you got to do is go to whitehouse.gov and you see what the Biden administration has done, not only for us, but also those who are on the Democratic side, I want to say. But voting, I mean, it helps us to get to some situation, some ideal form where we need to be. Like I said, like you said earlier, we're not going to agree on every message. We're not going to agree on everything that's put in front of us. However, that's better than nothing. I mean, prime example, right? The Georgia governor race, Stacey Abrams, the last governor race, she lost by 10,000 votes. 10,000. Right. And probably the black turnout in Georgia was probably maybe 30% of blacks voted. So she lost by 10,000. Wow. Right? She lost by 10,000.
If we show up, we can make a huge difference.
It makes a difference. Who are the number one voters in the Democratic Party? Black women, black men.
And while we're on that with Bobby, like the conversation that while we're tiptoeing through Georgia, can we talk about the Reverend Dr. Jamal Harrison Bryant and his response to the Republicans on
Herschel Walker?
Herschel.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know if you all had a chance. Have you had a chance? Have you seen that?
Woo!
Yeah.
Sir,
shout out to Roland Martin Unfiltered. Shout out to Roland Martin Unfiltered.
Roland Martin.
Yeah, Uncle Roland did that.
Black media, come on.
What Jamal did, Reverend Dr. Bryant did, that what nobody ready for, he exposed stuff that I don't think many people knew. The Republican committee did move him from Texas to Atlanta, specifically to run. But the second thing, what Brian said about having a white man tell him what to do all his life and will continue tells me, he said that. He said that we don't
it was powerful.
Yeah, we don't need a walker. We need a runner. That right there, sir. Because the argument,
good.
You don't get to hide, because I really want to have a conversation. I want to go back and speak to the Republicans that were Christian evangelical. And I would love to find out if they are still Christian evangelical, or are you now Christian nationalists? Because neither of the two represented the God of inclusivity that I know.
Well,
and if we were if we was down home, we would bring him to the altar and grease him like chicken getting ready to be fried and tell him he needs to repent because he is a lying wonder and the truth ain't seen the inside of his mouth since God let mud get wet. So we know that if you believe in God, the God you serve would not allow you to get up and pretend that you don't know where your penis has been, Walker.
Right.
And then get confused about when these people produce receipts. You don't have the latitude of the man who told you to move. He can deny. He's got money to hold it up in court. But my brother, the day you decide to actually be an individual, they're going to crucify you worse than they did the God I serve. And he doesn't even see it coming.
Not at all.
Dr. Story, go ahead.
I believe he's a pawn. I can't believe we've really taken some real time on attempting to address facts in a system that does not have the capacity to hold on to facts. So that's why it's easy to not know where his penis has been. It's easy to not be able to understand whether he has or has not. But the person he running against that did a two-step shuffle as well. And so I
Well,
ain't trying to talk about nobody, but I'm just saying if we bring in the facts, we got to look at everybody. We got to
right.
look at a preacher who's silent on some things he ought to be talking about and talking about some stuff he ought to be silent on, and you just have been waiting for the
Uh-oh.
shoe to fall on Herschel Walker because he talking,
Mm-hmm.
and you're hoping that nobody is looking at you, man of
Mm-hmm.
God.
Mm-hmm. Uh-oh.
Mm-mm.
Uh-oh.
Y'all,
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
we still making a choice between the better of
Two
two
evils.
evils.
Too evil. Yeah, yeah,
Check
yeah.
check the
Now that's
facts. I don't live in
yeah.
Georgia, so I can say what I gotta say. But I do agree we've got to vote, but we better know what we're voting for as well, because that Georgia area, I'm telling you, it's a hotbed, and it isn't just an issue of politics, but it's an issue of the prophetic, because it's gonna spread like wildfire. Herschel
Mm-hmm.
Walker ain't gonna be the only one. There are gonna be many
No, sir.
others that drop into places, because
There we go.
we could still be bought and sold so easily.
A different type of
And that's
slave
all I
market,
got to
and
say.
that's what it is.
It's a different
And I know
slave market.
it's a different slave market, and then we have to be careful. Now, although on a national level, it may not feel like our vote is as important, but we start at the local level, and that's why it's so important and imperative that we vote.
Exactly.
I know my mayor. In fact, I have her cell
Exactly.
phone. I call Mayor Aquanetta Warren, so you know
All right,
Sister Aquanetta.
Aquanetta. All right,
Aquanetta.
Yes.
Aquanetta.
Yes,
Who your
ma'am.
district
And
attorney is?
yeah, we have to know who these
Police
people
chief.
Yes.
are. Yes, so that we hold them accountable. Here in my local government, I know I keep my eye on them, because if something doesn't go, and then I go and ask for money. Yes, sir. We need to
Hmm.
keep an eye on them, ask for money, because they all have these budgets that are discretionary funds. And I'm like, you
That's
need
right.
mental health support in your city.
Yes.
I'm here to render that.
Yes.
Hmm.
I need a free office that you need to give me, and I need some money to support the residents of
Get
this
it.
community, because as I help
Get
the
it.
residents of this community, it's going to bring in more money into this community, because they are healthier, because we have healthier families. Now put me on your initiative so that you can say that
That's
we're
right.
doing this. And that's how we get involved. Know who the school board person is. Know who the city councilman is. Good Times had alderman in there. I forgot his name. He would mess
Yeah.
up with
Yeah.
Lona's name. But
Yeah.
but that showed us how important the local government and our relationship with the local government is, because that's how we begin to make change.
But we
And
gotta
we have
care
to
Exactly.
though, and I think Bobby
That
said
part.
every week we gotta go online. We gotta care, and it just can't be because it's an election week,
Right.
month. It's gotta be because we
Yes.
care about what's going on in our communities. We've gotta
Yes.
get out of our
Yes.
houses, get out of our nice cars. We gotta get out of
Right.
trying to beat somebody else for getting the new Gucci and Fendi, and we need to start ensuring that we are creating today the future we want to see tomorrow. We slept
That's
on the
right.
economy
That's
from the
right.
60s
That's
till
right.
today, and now we're trying to figure out why
Come
everybody
on,
got an
Dr. Joy.
inhaler. We done slept on all kinds of
Woo!
stuff with whether or not we ought to recycle or not recycle, and now we building communities on trash heaps, and everybody coming up
Yep.
with all kind of breathing problems and cancers and
Cancer.
all kinds of things, everything because we wait too late to care. We
Yes.
wait too
Yes.
Mhm.
late to
Yes.
care. And we're gonna have to.
I know.
We are already paying a price, and I'm I don't want to get off on this, but I want to know how the devil these oil companies. I was looking on the
Come
news
on.
yesterday.
What,
They done
did you
made
see that profit margin?
$2,837 every second in the last quarter. How y'all done came up with $18 billion off of the
Billion with a
U.S.
B.
economy? $18 billion off of the economy because we've sleeping, and ain't nobody talking about anything. And we try to play like that's a Republican or a Democratic issue. It's a national issue, and we've got to
Mhm.
stop
Yes.
separating
Yes.
as if it's a party issue. It's an issue because I can't continue watching
That's
one
right.
small
That's right.
group of individual rape this nation of cash because we're
Mhm.
about to turn over to electric. Somebody got to stop it. Everybody can't be in everybody's pocket all the time, and we winking at stuff all the time. We've got to do
We ain't
something
even
about
winking.
it, and we got to do it
Mhm.
now.
I
Yep,
know one
Bobby, you
thing. We
gonna s-
better vote. Yeah, we better vote like we gonna buy a Black Panther ticket. That's all I got to say.
You,
That's
We better
right.
vote just
That's
like we
right.
gonna buy them Black Panther
That's
tickets.
right. That's
I know
right.
that.
And and the
Yeah,
woman
we
you,
better
came.
vote like it's
Uh, uh, uh,
Wakanda. You know what I'm
Wakanda.
saying?
Wakanda.
Wakanda, Wakanda,
Well, Wakanda,
baby.
you know what I'm talking about.
Whether it's Kansas or Wakanda.
Hey,
Since we're talking about
you
the
know what it
political,
is.
yes, yes. Can we go here? Can we go to the Supreme Court and talk about
Mm.
none other than Tom and Fedget himself, Thomas, Clarence Thomas, and he's 74 now. He said, I quote, I don't have a clue of what diversity means as it pertains to using race in their mission for diversity in college. He just said that, I believe, the end of last week, because you know the move is to take equal opportunity
Affirmative
and
action. Yeah.
diversity and take away affirmative action in, and
They're gonna
he
do it.
says he doesn't even know what the word means. Now, isn't he a Supreme Court justice and judge?
Let's go further.
And
It was that same thing that got him into his college to get his degree. Thus, we be confused
That's what
about
I'm
life.
talking about.
Yep.
He
He
ain't
had
even
to go.
confused. He ain't confused. He ain't confused.
No,
He's not confused.
he's very clear. He's not confused. He's very clear in what he's doing. And the travesty of it is who he replaced. Thurgood Marshall is
Mm-mm.
probably standing straight up in his grave because of this.
You better
I'm
hear
in
it.
his grave for him.
For him. And my concern with Thomas
Clarence.
is I really do think that he should have took a page out of the Honorable Contention Brown's book. If you have any connections that could be raised as a question, then you should recuse yourself. However,
Yes.
it just seems to be that the rules of engagement and compliance to policy is per se not something he's contingent with. So maybe it is because he's old and he's stubborn. No, he's been stubborn the whole time.
Yes, he
Yeah.
has.
And he's
Yes.
not that old.
And they
Because
answered it
he
three
ain't that
times.
old. Yes, he
They
did.
answered that question 3 times. The lawyers answered. They gave him 3 answers, and he still played
Yes.
that role. Clarence is something else,
And-
man. I don't understand how he's technically, believe it or not, Clarence Thomas is like a black nationalist who's a conservative.
Wow, you talking good, man. You talking good. Say that again.
What are you talking about, Rob?
Hey, Clarence is something else. I don't get him because you got, okay, I'm going to say it. You got a black nationalist married to a white nationalist.
Right.
It's
Who
crazy.
has
Well,
not seen the truth since she was born?
It's
Because
crazy.
she still thinks that the election was stolen. Ma'am, that's
Yeah.
So
what
does
you
that
Stop.
mean they got cookies and cream? I don't know, but
He's very selective. He's very, very selective.
yes,
And as we're talking about this, as egregious as this is, the reality
yes,
is it's going to have an impact that is going to be so
for
far reaching because the ground
generations.
is not level. This is a racist
No,
nation. And baby, we better keep something on the book that'll at least hold somebody to some type of standard if they get called on it, because this is going to close the door in the face of our
of
future
so
if we
many.
continue
Yes, it
of
is.
so many
We
of
have to
so
back the
many
courts.
and
We have to back the
and we've
courts.
got too many that's right, but and because we've got too many HBCUs
Yes,
that cannot support.
that's right.
If we have that door closed, we have too few HBCUs who could do anything to support
Transracial.
and ensure that we are able to. He's transracial. I like that.
It had to sink. I said,
Yes, it
translation.
did. It
Oh
took a
my
minute.
God.
Yeah.
It took a minute. You
I
done
had
threw
to,
me off now,
I had to,
Janisha.
well, see, because we had, see, just like they gave him the definition of diversity, we had to
Woo!
translate the trans on the racial and see what that. Then it said, oh,
Y-
now you mean to
Yeah, you
tell
need to
me
coin
that
that
this
phrase.
dummy,
Coin that phrase.
right, who
Yeah.
got that
Coin
And
that
law
baby.
degree,
Transracial. Yeah.
but I'm
Yeah.
so glad you said that. But it's so imperative, and I'm going to do. It's not a shameless plug. It's doing a plug that Bobby in our family has made it a point, and he's is the chair and the executive director of the Lee Sellers Foundation, and we are being very intentional, starting in the fall, to give out 2 scholarships to 2 students that attend Wilberforce University, because we want to, as a family, give back to these students to make sure, and if they maintain a 3.0 GPA, we want to make sure that we give them that scholarship money up until they graduate, because it's more than us just talking the talk. We have to give back and be very intentional about our money and how we give to it. Bobby, can you speak on that? Because Rita brought it up, that especially as we have to start giving back to our own HBCUs. Bobby, talk about that and the importance of that we have decided as a family.
Yes, no question. I took on the I guess challenge, I would like to say. Basically, I looked at it as it's time for me to give back. I know a lot of people helped me to get where I'm at, so
Right.
I decided it's time to give back. And also, our uncle, he went to HBCU, Wilberforce
Yes.
University. So it's
Yes.
we can do what we can to help, because we know at the HBCUs a lot of the alumni do not give back. So hopefully this can
That's
spark
right.
some interest to the alumni at Wilberforce, where we definitely want them to participate too, and hopefully that can give some of the alumni some information or even a spark or whatnot to give back to their universities. No question.
Yes.
We have to start doing
Yes.
that, and that's what I'm running with.
Yes, yes. So I'm so excited and proud of Bobby, like I said, because we cannot allow the Clarence Thomases, the honorable, so-called honorable Clarence Thomas, to stop our people from getting a quality higher education that they deserve, that we deserve. Because I know what the odds were at when I was at UC Berkeley, and what we had to do just to, because I had people that look at me and talk about, how did you get here? I said, I applied, and I got to do the same work, sit in the same classes, take the same tests.
Yep.
And oftentimes, if they know it's me that's submitting it, I have to work that much harder to make sure my point is flawless versus that of you. So I'm going to encourage people. And we're so excited that Dr. Margarita Story has agreed to be our speaker for the event that's coming up in May. We'll definitely keep you posted with that. We're going to get Bishop up there. And we would love anyone who's in that whole Ohio Valley region. Listen, if you got some time, we'd love for you to stop by. We'll get more into that. I'm going to move on real quick. We got one more thing. Can we talk about Brittany Griner? My heart goes out to her, who is now a political game and pond in this whole thing, and that she's got now, her appeal was denied in the Russian court of law, and again, I think this is another example of not just this nation but the world uses Black athletes, and when we're done with them, we use them up, get all the money. Look how much money she has brought to the Russian economy, and they want to just lock her up. But we do that in our own home as well. So until we do differently, we got to. Bobby, I want to go with you because I know you are an athlete at in Colorado, in Fort Collins, and talk about what even it means as a Black athlete going to a college and what you had to deal with, and even what you feel about Brittany Griner.
It's an unfortunate situation. Definitely our hearts go out to her, no question.
Yes.
It's a tricky situation. Middle of a war. We already know what's going on over there. But
Right.
that's one thing that we have to do, is continually to keep her name in our minds and continually
That's right.
to express our opinions about that. All we can do is pray, and hopefully we can you know, get the right people in there to get it started as far as negotiations, whatever the case may be.
Yes.
You cannot let her be forgotten.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Dr. Story on Brittany, and then Bishop Sean.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, one of the terrible things, though, as well, that we've got to understand is, although we may have compassion for her, that the law is the law, and it won't bend because you're black. It won't
Right.
bend in other nations because they
Mm.
benefited from you. This is another nation, and we are trying to impose our sensibilities upon their rules and their laws. And I hate the circumstances
Mm-hmm.
she's in, but she
Yes. Yes.
unfortunately admitted that she knew she was over the legal amount.
I hear
It's
you.
hard. And we can't control somebody else's rules and laws. When we go somewhere else, we're
You said
bound and
Mm-hmm.
submit to what they've got going on. I hate what's going on with that girl. And I
Mm-hmm.
hate that even her choice was to have to choose another nation to go to because she couldn't be
That
great in
part.
her
We
own nation.
on our
Mm-hmm.
own. Right. Right. And we
Mm-hmm.
look at the
So
salary deficits.
yeah, yeah. And I pray for her all the time. But I also was in the military and I've been all over the world. And I've had some close calls, but their rules are their rules. And you can have compassion. You can think that it's not that bad, but is it against the law?
Mm.
Because we can't afford to do it. It would be different if we found, because early on we believed that it was incorrect, that she didn't have any drugs and that they were detaining her for no reason at all. That was early on. But now we found that there was something against the law that has occurred. And I think this is just me. I believe they're gonna back up eventually, but I believe that
I
she's
hope
being
so.
held at a bad time because of politics and not because she did something against.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
That part. That part. Go ahead, Bishop.
Well, and I think that everything Dr. Story said, I agree with. I do believe we have to ask the question: is what is the bargaining chip that Russia needs so that she can come home?
Yes.
But now, if we're
Yes.
going to do that, we do a prisoner swap, a prisoner exchange, because we're concerned about somebody being in another country, another community, violating their rules. Then if we can find a process to get those people home, clearly we can find a process to exonerate people who have already been sentenced
Mm.
in the U.S. We
Mm-hmm.
don't need a prisoner swipe. We need a freedom.
Mm. Say that again.
We don't need a fight.
Amen.
I'm not fooling with you. I do think that lastly, that if the president of the United States can argue for something that's big, clearly he can get it done. It's just a matter of what does
Yes,
Russia want. They're playing games and they're playing it
exactly.
horribly with somebody else's life.
Yes, they are.
And when she comes back,
Yeah.
she's coming back as a woman, but she's not coming back as the woman we knew.
Correct.
That's right.
And the
And I pray
WCB
she
is
gets
trash.
that support.
Hmm.
Yeah, and they need to be paying for her high level care to make sure she gets
Hmm.
restored as best
Hmm.
as possible.
Hmm.
And that's going to be
That's
some
it.
years.
Hmm.
And until we start
Hmm.
holding corporations, entities who have led to our mental health demise accountable, then
Hmm.
this horrible thing is going to continue. And I think we need to start serving notice on corporations and companies for the detriment that they have done to us years. And I'm going to encourage people, listen, look at your EPA programs, your employee assistant
Employee
program,
assistance
EAP.
program.
Yeah, EAP. I call it EPA. EAP, your employee assistant programs that, TBN to EPA, whatever. AARP, whatever you need to get in order to get. And I'm
That's right.
I'm a member of AAR. I got my pens. Really, I got it written down. We're
It
out of
doesn't
time,
ever
y'all.
get
Can you
old.
believe
It
it?
don't ever get
Oh, I
old.
know.
It never
We
gets
out
old.
of time. We always out of time. But Bob, how can we follow you? When's your next podcast? All that great stuff.
Yeah. No doubt. Hey, you can tune in to bsidepodcast.com. You can also go to IG, the B-Side Podcast Q. Also on Twitter, you can check us out, the B-Side Podcast with the number 2. So either or, check us out. Got some new up and coming podcasts for you. Once again, barbershop talk in your living room.
In your living room. Yes, sir.
In
Yes,
your living
sir.
room.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Bishop Sean, how you doing down there? Let us know how we can always follow you in Houston.
Yes, sir. You can go to our church website, www.fchouston.org, and you can communicate with me there. There's a place to send me some information. You're welcome to go on Facebook, Instagram. I don't know. I don't have a Twitter. Yeah, Facebook and Instagram, and you can catch up with me there, and we can connect. And yeah, that's it.
That's it. Okay. And Dr. Story, yes, the queen. Yes. How do we get a hold of you and how do we stay in touch with you?
On Facebook and Instagram and YouTube, Dr. Margarita
Yes.
Story. And you can get me there. I hope to see you tomorrow for our first Wellness Wednesday with Marty Sellers.
Yes. And
Hey, Mark,
definitely,
one
Dr.
quick
Story, for
thing,
those-
Mark.
Yes,
One
yes.
quick thing. My fault. Hey, people, tune in and go to Fanbase. Fanbase is a Black social media platform owned by Isaac Hayes III. Go to
Okay.
Fanbase. That is a Black, like I said, it's a Black social media platform. Yes. So
Platform.
same type of, same things like Facebook, Instagram.
Love it.
Same good stuff. Fanbase, Black owned. That's it.
Love that. Love that. Yes, yes.
And I
Dr.
invested in
Story,
I invested in some of that too. So I got some shares. So please, everybody, account. I
get you.
invested in the company. So please sign up and please sign up. And everybody, tell everybody, your grandma, your cousins, little aunties, nieces, nephews. Please, go ahead.
Rob, you can exit stage right. Exit stage right.
Listen, he said, yeah, that way. And listen, if you're in need of some prayer, tune in with Dr. Story. She does a morning prayer. Well, morning for us here on the West Coast, but it's at what time every day, Dr. Story?
At noon Eastern Standard Time, and it's called Will You Pray With Me?
Will you pray with me? And on what platform? It's only on Facebook. Is that correct?
No, it's on Facebook and YouTube.
And you
Facebook and YouTube. Yes,
You're gonna
yes.
get that on
Please
Fanbase.
join in on the. Yeah,
I'm gonna put it on Fanbase as well, Rob,
put it on
and I need to get
Fanbase.
in on how I can invest
Yes.
in Fanbase,
Yes.
so I catch
Yes.
you offline, so
Yes.
I can see that. Now, how's the investment? About $10-15, or where we starting? I'll talk to you about it later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rob,
I'm
like
supposed to exit right.
$10-15.
I'm exiting right. I'm exiting right.
Listen, I always have a great time with you all. I know it's past the hour, y'all. We want to thank you so much for joining in with us. We always have a great time. Listen, these are truly just our own thoughts, feelings, and opinions, and we on. I don't know what just happened, but these are our own thoughts, personal opinions. And with that, we do this because we want to bring up striking conversations about what's happening in our community so that you have a deeper understanding. However, we don't want to leave you without any hope. If you are definitely seeking any mental health resources, we want to point you in the right direction. Listen, if you're experiencing a crisis, you can type crisis to 741-741. Please check out Psychology Today. You can check out Therapy for Black Men, Good Therapy, as well as Marcel Consulting, or the mental health hotline at 988, because we never want to leave you where you are not able to get the necessary help that you need, because too many of us are continuing to suffer in silence. So again, in this journey, that we call life. We don't want you to feel like you don't have a safe space in which to speak up, in which that you can speak out, and which that you might find the capacity to live. But we want you to make sure that you have hope. And always remember this: enjoy your life. And we will see you tomorrow with Wellness Wednesdays. God bless.